What's up, summoners? King Blair here. Today, we're going to be talking about the current limited banner hero, Fairytale Tenibria, and whether or not you should pull for her. So if you liked the video, make sure you like, subscribe, and join the Discord. Link down in the description. But as always, I like to start with a little summary. And can I just say, Fairytale Tenebria's ultimate, in terms of animation, is one of the best I've seen to date. It looks amazing, and Bunny Kairon is everything, bro is amazing. I'm waiting for the skin already, bro. It's that good. I am so excited for what Bunny Kiteron. But right, enough. As far as that, should you pull for her? So the summary, she is a limited unit, and with all limited units, even if you don't think you're going to be using them now, they could come back up in the future to be very, very powerful. Case in point, Cerise, Holiday Euphine has become very, very powerful. Landy has become really, really, really powerful. Luna was very, very powerful. The only limited unit that didn't make a big impact so far has been elphelt. So all limited units, you do want to make sure you get them, even if you don't think you'll be using them right now. And Fairytale Tenebria is not just a pretty unit that like it's not going to be doing anything. She actually opens up a very unique playstyle, and I actually think she's going to be really good. I already did pull for her. I'm actually going for a second copy because I like her that much. So I probably will go to Pity for the second copy. The first copy we got in 30 summons, as we'll see in the video tomorrow. But I think she looks like the animations are gorgeous, and then the skills we will talk about right now, as well as the artifact, in case you're wondering about the artifact. Which I have not pulled, sadly. So I most likely will not be using her on her own artifact because I feel like you don't get as much unless it's like maxed, but I will be getting it from the powder shop. All right. So when we go to, she's going to be a mage, and she's going to be water. So it's weird seeing Tenebria, Tenebria, Tenebria. I do have all three Tenebria, so you might see me do a triple Tenebria team composition because I am planning to build all three of them to a competitive level. But let's see water Tenebria, right? So she ended up being water, so I'm pretty happy with it because she actually matches the color, unlike Landy and Mortalix. Well, Landy did match the color, but didn't match the class, and then Mortalix just didn't match anything. So kind of thankful to see Fairytale Tenebria actually matches. And I might call her Wonderland Tenebria, but I mean Fairytale Tenebria. Some people are calling her Tenebria because of the T, which I think is hilarious. Her awakening is going to be self-imprint effectiveness, which is really, really nice, which is why I want it, and as well as health. So sometimes this really does come into handy, especially when you're going for a team that doesn't really have that much effectiveness. It's nice to get that extra little HP, especially because I'm going to be pairing her up with some nasty, nasty team comps. But all right, as far as stats, so her stat line is actually quite interesting. Her attack is surprisingly on the higher. It's okay, right? It's not super low. It's actually not bad either. The HP is going to be a little bit on the low side. It's not like super low, like some of the more squishy thieves and the more squishy mages. Like I believe Vivian has a really small HP pool. Her HP pool is actually not bad, 5K, right? It's not terrible, but it's not like insane, right? It's good. It's fine. Her speed is actually really, really nice. 115. That's up there in the speed category, and the unit you're gonna have to compare her to is going to be Bazaar, because she does kind of serve a similar purpose, or even Sage Ball, and both of those are a little bit under, or I think Sage Ball might be around the same speed, but I know Bazaar for a fact is 108. So I would have to check on Sage Ball. But with versus Bazaar, she is going to be faster. She's in the same speed tier as top model Luluka. She's in the same speed tier as Vivian. She's in the same speed tier as all these other great opening heroes. She's slightly faster than Athletica, or around the same speed. So really good base speed. The defense also really, really good. Mages always have good defenses, but this is just, it's solid overall. Critical hit chance, critical damage don't matter because you're not be using that. Effectiveness being 18%, that's amazing. FRES is kind of useless. I think she actually has the same stat line as Sage Ball. But all right, so the effectiveness really, really nice, as we'll see in a second. So now let's see onto the skills. So S1, okay, first,
This is fun.
I actually never heard her quotes. She looks more normal. Like she looks like she has normal people proportions. I just realized that like her waist actually looks pretty normal. Wow. She looks really good. I mean, I like it. They did kind of reuse the hair from Tenebria, like the back and the standing animation, but they changed up this card animation and it looks amazing compared to like what she usually holds up. So I think it looks really, really cool. The design looks amazing. All right, S1. S1, probably her weakest skill, and honestly a little bit underwhelming in terms of S1s. So attacks the enemy, you might be thinking, okay, chance to poison for two poison effects for one turn, but it's 40% chance each for one turn. For comparison, Spectre Tenebria has one at like 75%, it hits two enemies, and it's for 2 turns. She has 1 turn, and it only goes up to 40%. This is so inconsistent. Yes, it'll be nice when you land it, but even if you land it, you're essentially doing 5% and at most 10%. If you land two, that's like highly unlikely, but if you do, you're doing 10%, which is the same that one poison effect on Spectre Tenebria would have done over the course of 2 turns. So it's like, it's not really consistent, but I mean, it is nice. It's not like if you get it, it'll be like nice. I got a poison, and you will be landing them because she will have high effectiveness, and it is 2 cases, so you'll most likely be landing one poison every turn, most likely, right? So like right there, we landed one. It is just 1 turn, which sucks, but you are most likely going to be landing one every turn. That's what you can expect. It's to land at least one every turn, about. That's the average, right? And then like 10% of the times you probably won't land either. And you have to remember 15%. Now, as far, let's go to the S3 first, because it'll make a lot more sense when we go to the S2. The one thing I forgot to mention about the S1 is it has the soul burn, which is going to be nice to cycle her ultimate. And her ultimate is the point of interest. So let's skip over to the ultimate. We know that this is not the best skill. Let's go over to ultimate. Oh, this ultimate looks amazing. If I have to say, like, it just looks so great. So what does it do? Let's just look at it first because I think it looks great. Watch on the left how you can see Kayron. Oh, dude, Kayron. Dude, that's actually one of the best animations in this game. And it's not even that. Actually, it's pretty long. Yeah, it's pretty long. And you see Armin and Cerelia. Dude, like, there's so much in it. Like, I just want to have a picture of the teapot party. Like, can I just get this teapot party and put it on all the heroes? Dude, it is so amazing. I think it looks really cool. I know some people think it's like, ugh, but she's pouring that tea. So, okay, now you're seeing a lot of debuffs, and you may be wondering, what are these debuffs? Right? So let's actually read the skill, and I'm actually really excited for her S3. So S3 lures all enemies in with a tea party, attacks dispelling one buff, making ability to be buffed for 2 turns, and inflicting redirect provoke for 1 turn. Okay, so strip one buff, AoE, right? So attacks all enemies. 100% chance, so there's no RNG, right? It's not like a Sage Ball. Or Sage Ball is 100. Most strips are 100, but it's only one buff. So you do have to realize it's only one buff. This means that if you have units like Fallen Cecilia, and there's immunity and a barrier, in RTA that is random. Which means that if you use this S3 in RTA, you have a chance to either dispel the immunity or the barrier. So take that as you will. Also, you have to realize this does not ignore effect resistance, so 50% still exists. As far as what the thing that it does, one buff is still really, really strong. It can still strip immunity in non-barriered teams and non-double buffed units. So one buff, unable to be buffed, for 2 turns. So that's really solid because that makes it so if you go on L crawl, you can actually apply the unable to be buffed so they don't get the barrier. And especially because she's a lot fast, she's faster than L crawl, so you'll be able to get this more accurately. And then they cannot be buffed. Really, really good debuff. Y'all know Basar. Everyone hates Basar. Granted, Basar also pushes back, and it can be ignores FRS if you soul burn it, but this one is still pretty nice. And then the redirect provoke. This is the one that opens up a lot of really cool team compositions. So what it does is it's a provoke, right? So they are forced to use their S1s, but it will always attack the enemy with the highest max health. Y'all, that skill looks so fun. That skill opens up a whole other layer of team building in Guild Wars Arena and RTA. Because think about this skill with Moonlight Emilken. Think about this skill with General Purgus. Think about this skill with Dark Corvus. Think about this skill with anyone on Idol's Cheer. That it opens up so many crazy combinations in this game that it's just amazing to me what she can like how great it actually is. Like the things that she can actually do are really really fun. As far as to whether it'll be good or not, I think it'll be pretty good. I think it's pretty spicy, right? And it is a 14 cooldown, which is a little bit on the longer side. But still, this opens up so many different strategies for things you can do. And at worst, if you're just putting her in a random team, you're attacking a knight or a tank that is not going to die, like a Crow, right? Let's say you put Crow, they're attacking Crow now, rushing that S3 faster, getting that squishy popped earlier. That could be really dangerous, right? So it's really, really cool provoke. I actually really, really like it. So as far then there's the S2, which we won't get to see the animation, but it also looks really, really solid. So it activates Shuffle when an enemy attack is provoked or redirect provoked. So we talked about redirected provoke, that's her own skill, but a normal provoke will also trigger this S2. This S2 is going to be once per turn, and it's an AoE attack that does damage based on the enemy's max health. I believe someone found it out to be 10% of the max health, right? So it does 10% of the max health if they also have if they also have um, provoke or react to provoke. So they have provoke or react to provoke. She does extra damage based on their max health. I believe it's 10%, but it does not penetrate defense. So unlike Seaside, it doesn't look like she's going to be penetrating defense, but it'll still do pretty good damage, right? 10% is a lot, even if they have like good defenses. So pretty cool skill, right? So what this does and what it opens up, again, units like Cecilia who can apply provoke will trigger this. Her own S3 triggers. So right now, if this guy attacked me, she would trigger this skill and do the AoE damage, hit them all, and do and apply a random debuff. And the random debuffs are not that big of a pool, right? It's silence, decreased defense, and unhealable. Two of the three are game breaking, are like game changing. So like decreased defense and silence are game breaking. If you land the silence, they are out of commission for another turn. So essentially, you do this. If you get the silence, that's 2 turns where they're not being able to do anything against you. That's 2 turns where they have to just S1 you to beat you. That's really powerful. That's really, really good. And every time a provoked unit happens. So this means Fallen Cecilia, if you S1 later in the fight, they will trigger it. If you use a Tywin and you provoke, they will trigger it. Like on Elris Sword, they will trigger the AoE and a random debuff. And because she'll be fast, she'll be able to do it. It's once per turn, but you'll be surprised how often you can land provokes with a lot of knights in this game. So all right. So overall, what are my thoughts on her? Kind of like concluding everything that I've just said, and where do I think you can use her? So for PvE, I don't think she's good for Wyvern, even though she is a water unit. So that's the first thing everyone always asks: Is they good? Are they good for Wyvern? No. This is way too RNG, and you can't really provoke down the Wyvern. So unless you're friendship farming, you probably don't want to use her for Wyvern, right? She can apply a couple of debuffs. She can apply the poison. You can get lucky and get a ton of debuffs. And since she's a mage, you can even give her Cyril Ren to apply some debuffs, right? You can make her work for Wyvern, but she's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to be doing a great Wyvern run with her. No, that's not going to. You can make her work, but it's not ideal, right? Abyss, a little bit inconsistent, but if you really hate and don't want to build Curious like me, this will still work. It's only 1 turn though, so you'll need someone like a Dizzy to be able to make the most use out of this poison to be able to extend the debuff duration, or even like a Curious again, if you want to build the Curious, since you can actually extend this debuff duration a little bit longer. So having S1 and poison is always nice for Abyss. For Raid, probably not the best, and I don't really see that many other places you could take her. It's a lot of debuffs, so you can't take her to a lot of Raid, right? So you don't want to take her to Raid because a lot of the bosses have anti-debuffs. So that's the PvE aspect of it. For PvP, oh man, this unit for PvP, Arena looks really good for her because you're able to lock down a lot of units early on and applied cannot be buffed and set up into some combinations that cannot be destroyed like RTA, right? In RTA, you can always ban something out. In Arena, though, if you do this against the right team comp with like a General Purgus, you can cycle the heck out of your opponent. Like you can just cycle them to death if you have it on a General Purgus because literally, if the whole team is attacking that General Purgus, you're getting like almost 50% CR push from the General Purgus alone. And then General Purgus can provoke again, and then you're getting the S2, you're doing random debuffs. If you get the artifact, you're doing fixed damage. You can do a lot with the skill in Arena, and I think it's really, really cool for Arena. For Guild Wars, again, same thing. I think for Guild Wars, it's actually pretty scary as well. For offense, right? The only problem with defense is that because it's a random debuff, they can just or they can just bring units like Champ C. And since she doesn't have a decreased defense or anything crush, and like she hits Champ C F Maya will be easily able to take care of Fairytale Tenibria in defense. But RTA, this is the one where I'm actually going to be using her a lot. And I am actually really excited to build her, and I will be building her within the next 2 weeks, right? And I will be testing her in RTA, in high level RTA, after I do my like my dailies and I'm back from vacation, because she looks like a unit that if you put her in as a last pick unit, similar to like a Dizzy, it can just win you the fight right there and then. Yes, she has a lot of counters. So RTA, yes, she has a lot of counters. She has Champ C. She has Maya. She has high FS units. She's still water, so she can still miss on units like Falconeer Clury. She still loses to Cleave since you have to get effectiveness and speed, whereas Cleave technically only really needs effectiveness. So there's a lot of units that she does lose to, right? But overall, so overall thoughts on Wanderella Tenebria. Where do I put her? I think as of right now, she's a very strong unit. Definitely pull for her. She's limited, right? There's you could just literally end the video right there. She's limited. Pull for her at least one copy, right? You don't need more copies of her. The artifact is oh yeah, the artifact. The artifact is cool, but it's not necessarily like needed for her, right? There's a lot of really good mage artifacts. Yes, this is really nice if you actually want to do damage with her. And I think this could be really annoying because it's fixed damage, meaning it ignores everything. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage, right? So yes, this will make her a lot better if you're trying to go for a more aggressive Fairy Tale Tenebria, right? If you're trying to go for an aggressive Fairy Tale Tenebria, oh yeah, this will be probably your best option. But there's still a lot of really good mage options. You can still do Abyssal Crown if you want to try to go for some stuns. Although it's not ideal because then you kind of mess up some of the parts from like the provoke. You can do Cyril Ren for extra debuffs. You can do Layla Violin to take away more than just one buff, right? Because that's one of the problems that she does have is she only does one buff. You can do Tangle's Ancient Book. Always nice to have 20 souls, right? And she is a very strong opener unit that can follow up into another unit later on. So though, yes, this artifact probably the best for a damage one, but she still has other artifacts. This artifact also looks really interesting for units like Champ C, where they also do counterattack when it's not their turn, right? So that they could Champ C is the only other mage I could actually see using this reliably, but her of course. So her and Champ C, pretty cool artifact. I actually really like her for her and for Champ C. All right, final thoughts. Just concluding everything on her. So I was kind of already talking about before, but you definitely want to pull for her since she is going to be a limited unit. That's like a no-brainer, right? You don't need me to tell you that. You already probably knew this. You want to pull for her at least one copy. For the artifact, you can buy it from shop, at least one copy, right? At least have one of each because they are limited and they may not come back until a very, very long time. Where do I think they're going to be broken or not? I think she's definitely going to be good. I think a lot of people are scared that because of 15% in RTA and in Arena and in Guild Wars and just 15% overall can really screw her up. And she does have some very direct counters. Ray counters her because it's an Earth unit with high FRS that can just cleanse everything and just make Fairy Tail Tenebria useless, right? So she's never going to be like game-breaking unit, but as a last pick unit in an RTA draft or Arena where they don't get to bring counters to her, she can be crushing because the ability to just AoE attack and provoke and steal away that turn from them and potentially take away another turn with the silence is absolutely game crushing. And if they don't have the things to deal with her and her in your draft, and because she's fast, they are going to lose that fight. So definitely going to see a lot of play. I know I'm going to be using her a lot. I really, really like her kit. I'm really excited for her kit. I'm really excited to use her. And best part of all, she doesn't need Molagora. All her skills work with no Molagora, except maybe the S3 getting the cooldown. That's it. Everything else you don't need, right? So that's so cool. So it's a limited unit that you don't have to invest a lot on, and you're gonna get you already use straight out of the gate. But that is all I have for you guys today. Hopefully you guys had amazing holidays and Smilegate blessed you with some amazing summons. But that's all I got for you guys today, and I will see y'all next time. Peace.